Today on Business Around Town, we'll be looking at some of the top stories making the rounds in the world of business. And top on my list this morning is the Forex crisis. The Forex crisis in Nigeria. Labour now blames government official. Manufacturers are saying that government should do something about it. It's affecting production, and the inflation rate is very high, and all of that conversation, it's about the Forex. So today we're going to look at who will save the Naira, what will save the Naira, what is the future of the Naira. Now, we know that $10 billion is going to, in the coming days, be infused into the economy to help the crisis. Now, it's in the news. We all know that when the Minister for Finance talked about it. So the Afrexim loan of $3 billion also that has been or will be introduced into the system, or to cushion the fall of the Naira. And we also saw a little bit of appreciation of the Naira. Some say it's because of the affirmation of the Supreme Court, affirming that the president, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, is our president, and the matter is out of court now, so that some make the Naira to appreciate, and also the speculations of the $10 billion that will be introduced into the system. So all of that we'll be talking about today on the program. So I have Segun Shokbito standing by to analyze the stories, and also have Rufai Oseni that talked about saving the Naira, what we can do to help the situation of the Naira, because surely we cannot continue like this. If the Naira continues to depreciate, it's going to affect everything, like it's already affecting everything in Nigeria, because we are heavily dollarized. So I'll take a listen to Rufai's talk on what will save the Naira, how to make the Naira stronger, and all of that, and then we will get back to Segun Shokbito and also get his own analysis on the FX crisis. So keep it here. We are the voice of the people, 90.3 FM.
Welcome to another edition of Saving the Naira series, where we get to talk about some ideas as regards saving the Naira. And it's more than a joy being here. So today, let's even go historically and look at how our currency started, our currency emerged. The Naira as it is today pretty much was not what Nigeria used to spend back in the days. And let's talk a little bit about currencies in the West African area. Truth has to be told, currencies really emerged because the colonialists had to look for forms of trade and a value exchange system. And that was how currencies emerged. And prior to this time, there were all sorts of means of trading. I mean, obviously the trade by barter was there, and other means of trading, until finally a currency system started. And this was when something called the West African Currency Union pretty much started. And when the West African Currency Union, started many years ago, as a precursor to most of our currencies today on the African continent. So as I was saying, pretty much the West African Currency Board, as it was called then, sorry about the word West African Currency Union, I was saying about what applies now. But the West African Currency Board that was introduced in 1912, started as a result of the report of a departmental committee set up by the Secretary of State to inquire into, currency use in British West Africa. So pretty much the British were here, and they dominated our trade with other countries too. In fact, I take that back. It was not only the British that dominated our trade. The Germans too played a heavy role in terms of trade. In fact, they were leading trading partners. And when this committee was set up, the board was responsible for production and distribution of currency in Gold Coast, Nigeria, Sierra Leone, and the Gambia, pretty much under this area. British colonialist tendencies then, and in line with their gradual movement towards independence, the four countries began to use their own respective national currencies, and the board entered into a detailed arrangement to facilitate the withdrawal and redemption of these currencies, and stationed representatives in four capitals to superintend the destruction of the notes and shipments of coins to the UK. So The board was only dissolved in 1965, and its assets and liabilities were handed over to Crown agents who became responsible, for its residual function. So those are the early, days of currency here. And when you look at it, pretty much the British colonialists, everything around our currency, they were the ones that led the way as regards our currency. But when most African countries started getting independence in 1960, what happened again was there was now a new push as regards, currency and how exchange was going to be done and all of that. And then this now led, to something called, the Sterling Union that a lot of these West African colonies had to get into. The Sterling Union was pretty much a union of countries that spent sterling, the British pound sterling, and Nigeria was part of them because it was pretty much pounds and shillings, and a lot of these countries, were part of that union, and it continued for quite a while until the 70s, when Nigeria changed, or the sterling area as it was called, or the sterling blocks, or the sterling territory. Pretty much this started in the 1930s, when the sterling left the gold standard, so most currencies were pegged, to the sterling. But we Nigeria as a country, we pretty much started agitating to leave that. Awolowo was in charge of the economy then, and he finally started the push that led to having the Naira. So just to give you an historical antecedent of where we came from, and finally in 1973 we had the Nigerian Naira. Was introduced on the 1st of January 1973. It replaced the Nigerian pound at the rate of £1 to 2 naira. That was the exchange rate. So at that point in time, the term Naira, in fact, was coined from Nigeria by Obafemi Awolowo. The Naira as a currency was launched by Shehu Shagari as Minister of Finance, and in 1973, but Obafemi Awolowo had pretty much done the groundwork and the agitation and all of that. And the Central Bank of Nigeria claimed that they attempted to control the annual inflation rate between 10%. And in 2011, we've been having a lot of problems, with the Naira. So that we had the Nigerian Naira 73 that was pegged against the pound at a rate of 2 to 1. But as that continued, 73 marked a turnaround, because that was when we had the Yom Kippur War. And the Yom Kippur War led to a big push in the Naira, but it also brought around its attendant inflation, because that was when what we really used to produce a lot before, which was agricultural produce, then we started to slide. Well, 73 was also a key year, because apart from the blessings of Yom Kippur, we also had a very good bounty as regards cocoa production and everything. So we earned a lot of revenue. So once Nigeria started to make a lot of money in the 70s, then definitely the currency started to strengthen. The currency also strengthened because we had not fully become a very dollarized, or we didn't have this big demand for foreign currencies like we have today, because a lot of our demands were quite low, and Nigeria started to grow as an economy. Then inflation also set in, but we could still, meet our demand for foreign currency, because to a very large extent, we're a highly productive economy. There were a lot of companies, there were a lot of industries, so the productive sector was still in top gear. In the 70s, a lot of car manufacturing started with the Peugeot Automobile of Nigeria, and we used to, keep our things within. A lot of people bought Peugeot cars. The Naira was strong, 2,000-3,000 Naira. They would get a good car and all of that. And that continued till the 80s. So the problem pretty much started around the 80s because as a country, we had made a lot of money. Then we went on a binge of spending. First many flashpoints that really affected us was subsidies. So we started heavy subsidies, and we pretty much will subsidize anything possible, which the argument then was that it was a good idea because they wanted a lot of people to be able to benefit, and it did help a lot of people, in all fairness. Academic subsidies, education subsidies, and some other subsidies. But also we opened this Pandora box of corruption. So the first real push as regards that was the case of Festac 77. Festac 77 was a big Pandora's box of corruption because it led to a lot of problems. There was massive corruption as regards contracts, and we had to import, a lot and do some contracts around Festac and all of that. And around also that 77 time, we had what we call the cement armada, because a lot of money was coming into the country. Then we truly also wanted to grow at a scale. So most of those cements were there in the ports, and to clear them was a problem. And that also set Nigeria back because there were many international litigation. The shipping companies wanted their money. Nigeria wouldn't pay on the demurrage, and it really set us back a lot. There's a whole lot of cash cases internationally that have been cited today. In fact, some of them were decided by the great Lord Denny, they normally quote, as regards what happened with the cement armada. So it was vis-a-vis that time too. In the 70s, they paid the Odoji Awards. So because we had a lot of money, and the famous saying also, the problem is not money but how to spend it, came up in the 70s. But the question was, how did we use the wealth? How did we use the windfall? But how we used the windfall was reflective already in the early 80s. The economy had started to struggle. And because we're totally dependent on oil, slump in oil and all of that from the good days of the 90s and the 80s, pretty much set us back for a while. And we started to struggle economically. And it is that struggle that led to toppling of governments. In the 70s, yes, we returned to democracy, but also there was massive corruption in 79 after we returned to democracy. Then we went back to a military regime in 83 as a country. So just a little bit background to again about our currency, the Naira. Naira was introduced in denomination of half, that's 50 kobo, 1 Naira, 5 Naira, 10 Naira, 25, 20, okay, half kobo, 1 Naira, 1 kobo, 5 kobo, 10 kobo, 25 kobo, with half kobo and 1 kobo being in bronze and higher denomination being in copper nickel. The half kobo coins were minted only in that year. In 1991, smaller 1, 10 and 20 kobo coins were issued in copper plated, along with the nickel plated 50 kobo and 1 Naira. On 28 February 2007, coins were issued in 50 kobo, 1 Naira, 2 Naira, with 1 Naira and 2 Naira being in bimetallic strip. So Nigerians expressed concern over the usability of 2 Naira. The deadline for exchanging the old currency was set at 31st of May 2007. And the central bank stated that half kobo to 25 kobo coins were withdrawn from circulation with effect from the 28th of February 2007. So we went from a country that had coins before to a country, obviously, that doesn't have coin any longer. The Central Bank of Nigeria also introduced in 73 5 kobo, 1 Naira, 5 Naira, 10 Naira, 20 Naira. In 1984, the colors of the Naira were changed in an attempt to control money laundering, just like we had in the last elections, and it caused a lot of problems. But there was also a story about, despite the fact that they said people shouldn't bring money in, Some people still brought money in through the country at that point in time. Boxes load full of money. And that story is still out there till date. So in 1991, 50 Naira notes were issued, while 50 Kobo and 1 Naira notes were replaced with by coins. This was followed by 100 Naira in 1999, 200 Naira in 2000, 500 Naira in 2001, and 1,000 Naira on October 12, 2005. By 2005, there were newer versions of 5 to 50 Naira notes were introduced, and originally 10, 20, and 50 Naira.
You're listening to Voice of the People 90.3 FM. Rufai Sini giving some historical facts and issues and talks about the Naira. What will save the Naira? Who will save the Naira? How did we get to where we are today that the Naira is exchanging for 1,000 to $1, even 1,000 plus? What is the future? And with the recent news that 100 billion Naira is going to be infused into the economy, Wale Edun, which is the Minister of Finance, talked about this at the last economic summit. And that has the news has made the Naira to appreciate. But how sustainable is that? I have Segun Shokbito with me. Good morning to you, sir.
Good morning, madam.
How are you doing today, sir?
I'm good. Thank God. How are you?
I'm okay. Now, we are talking about the Naira, the appreciation that we saw this Friday, and even today, the Naira has appreciated a little bit. We don't know how long this will last, but many business people want to know the future. The money, the $10 billion, has it been infused into the system? Is that why the Naira is appreciating? Is it a $3 billion Afrizim loan? Or what is really going on? Or is it the news of the affirmation of the president?
Okay, thank you. Well, so people have to understand that markets actually do respond to sentiment. In fact, you have to remember that when we say market, really, we're talking about people, right? We're talking about people that are playing in that market, whether they are buyers, whether they are sellers, whether they are regulators, and all the other players in any market. So markets actually do have sentiments, and that's why you hear things like market sentiment. Sometimes the sentiment of the market is bearish. Sometimes it's bullish. All of these things mean that the players in that market see things, and based on how they feel, just feeling about those things, they take actions that then affect the movement of the market, and that's exactly what we're saying right now. So what we're seeing is a market sentiment that is afraid from speculators. Pardon me. They have heard news that they believe will have a very significant impact on their activities in that market, and they're responding to that news. That's what we're seeing. So this appreciation we're seeing is not because the money has come into the market in terms of liquidity and supply. Remember, what got us to this place in the first place is that demand is outstripping supply by a significant proportion, both in the parallel market and in the official market. And therefore, the price of the Naira in exchange for the dollar has been depreciating, has been getting worse. So now, there is news that seems to suggest that all of that problem will disappear, at least in the medium term. Short, medium term, right? So the players in that market have heard that news, and they're afraid of what, if that actually happens, if this is implemented as the government has said, what will automatically happen is that supply will outstrip demand by a good measure, and Naira will appreciate significantly. When I say significant, I'm talking of 200, 300 Naira moves over a short space of time. Now, imagine if you are somebody who has hoarded $10 million. Let's just use that figure. I mean, some people are doing volumes far in excess of that.
Yes.
But let's assume that it's just $10 million that you hoarded because you're expecting a 2 Naira or a 10 Naira appreciation over a 1 week period, which means that you will make $10 million, right? 10 Naira per dollar. So that's 10 million Naira, if my math is correct, right? In fact, sorry, 100 million Naira. You make 100 million Naira right there and then in a week because of the appreciation of the Naira. So you've hoarded this $10 million. All of a sudden, you hear news that suggests to you that within a 2-week period, the dollar, instead of appreciating against the Naira, will actually lose value and Naira will strengthen. by maybe 100 naira. That could wipe you out. It could actually take out $10 million. So what you will do as a reasonable human being is to quickly dispose of the dollars you have in your hand. So that is what we're seeing now. Market players are basically, especially those maybe that are speculating, and some are actually not speculating. Some are holding the dollars because they have business needs to meet. So they, out of fear again, sentiment that, if I don't buy these dollars today at this 1,120 that it is likely with the trend I'm seeing to hit 1,300 in the next 2 weeks. So they quickly buy because they have a settlement to make, or they have a payment to make in dollars in 2 weeks' time. Now, even those people who are obviously not speculating will have to may decide that they are going to divest and release that holding that they have in dollars to secure themselves from very catastrophic losses. So that's what you are seeing now. You are just seeing the market responding to the news. So now what will happen is, if the news does not translate to reality very quickly, the reality of the market will set in again. The reality is that demand is far outstripping supply and price is going up. So this news has created a sentiment that is afraid that might not continue. So people are selling, and therefore supply is now temporarily in excess of demand. But it is not convenient to all the people that are selling. So if they see that this thing is not going to happen, they will buy back. That's what will happen. So they will just start buying dollars again, and we'll see a reversal of this appreciation. So that's all that we're seeing right now. So no supply has come yet. No supply is likely to come in the next 2 to 3 weeks if what the government is saying is correct. And from what I am hearing and learning and understanding about the nature of this deal, it will not happen in 2 weeks. It will not. In fact, it can't happen in a month. I don't even think it can happen in 2 months because there's still a lot of paperwork. We're talking of $7 billion of transactions. That volume of transaction cannot be consummated in days. There's a lot of dotting of I's, crossing of T's. There's a lot of due diligence that people that are involved in this transaction must do to protect themselves. So this thing will not happen as quickly as the government is putting out, and therefore we're likely to see a reversal of this application.
Thank you for that analysis. I know labor manufacturers, they all kick saying that the federal government should do something as quick as possible because it's affecting Nigerians. The price of commodities, the way they are skyrocketing is alarming. Like, you go to the market to buy something today, the next minute the price has gone up. That's what we've been experiencing. So they had to cry to the federal government that please do something about it. So hopefully, maybe, we don't know, but we're looking at what is going on.
So let me jump in quickly, Mary, and say that I think the government should be appreciated. We should commend the finance team of the government because it's clear now that they are thinking. They are desperately looking for solutions, and that's a very good thing. So for people that don't understand, let me just explain what this thing is all about. NLNG, dividend securitization. We're basically saying that the dividends that the country will earn over the next 5 years, we're going to draw down against it today. We're going to basically, because that dividend is certain, NLNG is our biggest cash cow in this country. It's the most successful thing that our government has ever done. The trains of gas leave when they're supposed to leave, and confidence has been built in that entity called NLNG Limited, NLNG Nigeria Limited, right? It's a business, it's a company. The dividends that will come, because we're so sure about those dividends, and the capital market players, operators, banks, financial institutions, providers of funds, they are also very sure about that cash flow. They are willing to release that money to you today in advance, while they will now hold a document, a promise that you are making to them, that when the dividends are coming from that entity, the dividends will go to them in repayment of the money they are giving to you today. That's what we're doing. So we're basically borrowing against our future earnings on LNG. So it's a very good thing in the sense that it's providing desperately needed immediate cash flows. But it's dangerous in that we are mortgaging our future revenues as a country to deal with the problems we have today that have been created by our own inefficiencies and corruption. Now, that is the flip side. So while I commend the government for being obviously on their feet and thinking, it is absolutely critical that they must be warned that this money, one, must be applied to the purpose that they are being taken for, and two, that the structural problem that created this situation in the first place must be urgently addressed Otherwise, what we would have done is that we would not have solved the underlying problem. We would have treated the symptom, the headache, but the cancer will still be there. And when it is time for us to use the monies that we're supposed to get from this LNG, we have already sold it. We already used that money yesterday because we didn't solve the problem that created the scarcity in the first place. So we have to be very, this is delicate. We're basically mortgaging the future. And it's exactly the same thing with the Afrexim 3 billion loan. We are selling our crude oil, that the money for crude oil that we have not yet sold, we're collecting it today. So it's exactly the same mentality. The exact same warning must be put out there, that this money taking them today is good because it solves us the immediate problem of prevent all of us from dying today. That's how serious this problem is. So I don't have a problem with this solution, but there must be concerted effort by all concerned, all parties, governments, the National Assembly, the media, civil society, and just general public opinion leaders to ensure that government is held to account on the use of those funds, one, and on the solving of the fundamental problems that brought us here in the first place. If those two things don't happen, we are digging a desperately dangerous pit for ourselves.
Thank you so much. Next question I have for you is, you talked about solving the fundamental problems that we have today. We know that the money that we are borrowing, or the $7 billion, that is also $10 billion, is some reports that is $10 billion that we are getting from NNNG, and the $3 billion Afrexim loan, that it's not enough to really stabilize the Naira. It's just going to be temporary. Yeah. And they are calling for the government to sell a part of NLNG, since it's a cash cow. NLNG has been very, very, very productive. And if you sell some of the assets, a bit of it will have enough money to solve this crisis, this forest crisis, once and for all, not just the bit and pieces we're seeing right now.
Well, you're asking if selling a part of the NLNG can solve the problem permanently. Is that what you're asking?
Yes. If
Okay. I just wanted to be sure. So the answer to that is no. If we sell a part of the NLNG, and I don't have a problem with that. Yeah, sell 5% or 10% of the holding in NLNG to generate a significantly higher volume of liquidity, cash, forex cash. That doesn't solve the problem, because the problem itself, what exactly is our problem? Why are we here today? We're here today because we are not earning enough foreign exchange to pay for our import bill and for the demand for dollars by our Naira. That is the problem. We simply do not have the supply to fund the demand, whatever the reason for the demand might be. You can disaggregate the demand and try to find out which one of those things you can actually eliminate, right? That's also an answer. So you need to do that. You need to first of all look at the demand. What is the component of this demand? Break it down and then eliminate the ones that you can eliminate. Speculation, for example, that is unethical. You can eliminate that with law enforcement. Importation of certain things that we produce locally, you can eliminate that with tariffs, not by ban. On that end. So there are so many other things you can do on the demand side. On the supply side, how do we fix the inadequate supply? One, export. Two, inflow from foreign direct investments. Three, inflow from diaspora remittances. So all of those components on the supply side, what can we do to them? Which one can we fix today? Which one can we put measures in place today to ensure that they are fixed as quickly as possible tomorrow? So the inflows in terms of diaspora remittances, for example, is a low-hanging fruit. The inflows from foreign direct investment and capital importation is a low-hanging fruit. The one that is very difficult is increasing our export revenue, which actually is really where we need to be heading towards. But it will take time to do that. So what can government do in terms of policy implementation to encourage Nigerians in the diaspora to send their money home through official channels so that money can be useful to the larger economy? That is a very significant question that the managers of this economy must answer today. What can the government do to encourage people that are holding investments and capital outside the country, that are looking at the opportunities in Nigeria and want to be a part of it? What can we do to encourage them to bring their monies in quickly? so that knowing that they can take it out when it has achieved its objective. That is another quick win. It's a policy thing. If government sits down and crafts policies, within a month, you can see significant increases in inflows from those two things. So on the export side, we all know the story. It's going to take time. So if you look at the demand side and fix it and eliminate the demand that is unnecessary, eliminate demand that is illegal, in quotes, or unethical, then look at the supply side, improve it, the ones that you can improve today. Now you are talking of fundamental, foundational fixes to the problem that has gotten us here today. Selling of our assets, selling of our dividends are short-term fixes. Because if you sell, let's say, 10% of NLNG, you will finish the money now because the demand will continue to outstrip the supply. So the only supply you would have is what you already have today as a base, which is obviously not enough, and whatever you have brought on board from selling of your assets or from mortgaging your future dividends. Those things are temporary fixes. The real problem must be dealt with. Otherwise, we'll be back here in 6 months' time or in a year's time.
Thank you so much, Segun Shokpito. It's always a pleasure speaking with you.
Thanks for having me.
In the coming days, we hope the best for the Naira, that it continues to appreciate.
We hope so.
Yeah.
We hope so.
Yeah, we've been speaking with Segun Shokpito. He's a principal partner, Woodridge and Scott Consulting, and the topic has been addressing the Forex challenge in Nigeria, preserving the Naira's strength. And Rufai Oseni came with a historic perspective of the Naira, how we got to where we are today. So, but we're going to end here this morning, the talk on the Naira. We're going to end here to bring you another segment of the program. So I'll go for a quick break, and when I return, I have Godwin Oyefeso standing by to talk about export. So keep it here. Do not change the dial.
We understand that having no financial stability can be very frustrating as it limits your possibilities in life. So it's important that you take hold of your finances today. There are 1,001 ways you can get started. All you need is a guide. VOP has acknowledged this need and has provided a solution. Mary Onaife Debbie invites experts across various fields, and they are dedicated to helping you create lasting revenue. Join Business Around Town every week, Mondays to Fridays at 9:30 a.m. to 10:30 a.m. on Voice of the People 90.3 FM. Voice of the People, now you have a voice.
You're listening to Voice of the People 90.3 FM. Welcome to the second segment. This is a special segment. We'll be doing it from now till Friday because we have a seminar coming up on the 4th of November, and we'll have loads of questions from you, and we want to try and answer all of the question, all the clarification, give you everything you need before you come for the seminar. I have Godwin Oyefeso standing by. Good morning to you, Godwin Oyefeso.
Yeah, good morning, Nigerians. Good morning, Lagos. Good morning, Mary.
Yeah.
The weekend is good.
Yeah, it's been great. Now, before you came on board, we were talking about the Naira appreciation, Naira depreciation, the dollar, the Naira had to, all of that was our conversation. Now, the talk of export came into play, exporting product out of the country, really taking export seriously, because it's one of the ways that we can bring in dollars, bring in foreign revenue effects into the system. So I'm glad we're really having this seminar that is coming up on the 4th. So I have questions for you, lots of questions waiting for you.
Please, okay.
Are you ready?
I'm much more ready.
I know you're 100% ready. Mr. Godwin Oyefeso he's been doing export for the past 20 years. So I don't know any question about export that you have that he will not be able to handle. Just bring it on. He will handle the questions. And now the first one here says, good morning to you, Mr. Godwin and Mary. I'm listening to you now, and I'm quite interested in coming for the seminar. But my own is exporting solid minerals. That's where I'm really interested in. There are some foreign minerals in the country that I would like to export. I hear people talking about lithium. I hear people talking about some other minerals. Please, I don't know if there is anyone that is easily accessible that I can export and how to get the buyers. Please talk about that. That's what I'm interested in, not commodities.
Okay. The good thing about the master class is that is a class that solves problems. So if you know you have problem, you have a commodity you want to enter into, and you want an expert to talk about it, the only place is the master class. So, for example, although we're talking on agro commodities, for those who are interested in solid minerals, if that is your area of interest and you come for the master class, be assured. Then you're asking me about what you can export that's really making more than money, okay, is that of what they call lithium, okay? Lithium is found all over a place in Ebonyi State. In fact, it's so funny that a guy came to my office and said that the father called him in Ebonyi that they are the place where they used for their family house for the past 70 years, that they want to buy it for 1 billion naira. He said he couldn't believe it. He said he quickly rushed home. On getting home, he met the buyers and he said if they agree, they will transfer the money to your account. And he was shaking because actually he has not even seen 1 million in his life. But he came to me and said, "Sir, what is this thing all about?" He said, when they tested the place, they saw that there's lithium, and that the lithium that is on their ground alone is worth 250 billion. And they will continue to exploit that for the next 100 years. He said that's when he fainted. He said they couldn't know what really happened to him. They rushed him to the hospital and he couldn't believe. He said, wow. And that's why he called me and said, sir. I said, I'm coming to Lagos. Immediately I'm okay to come and do everything that I need to do. That we are wallowing in poverty and we never knew there is money in the house we have been living. My father, my great-grandfather, the house was transferred to my father by his great-grandfather and his great-great-grandfather, and they are wallowing up in poverty. So knowledge is power. You know, when you come for the expert in master class, your eyes will be open. There are some things we don't know we should do, that if we do it, we make money. But because we don't know. So I think the most important thing is that this master class will give you a lot of knowledge about a lot of things. But if it's only you're preoccupied, I want to tell you that if that is what I'm going to discuss about it, and I'll give you a lot of information about lithium. Lithium is what they use for electric battery. Okay. Now, apart from you can actually have a battery that is electric. Okay, there's what you call electric cars. So when you have electric cars, you don't use fuel, for God's sake. You don't buy fuel. There's nothing that concerns you with fuel. Once your battery is electric battery, your car will be moved to anywhere as long as. So there's a hot demand for that particular thing for electric batteries, and what they use for electric batteries is lithium. So the rest are sure, if you come for the master class, I will expose you to all the nitty-gritty of all those things. And I think you need to pay me extra money because that 50,000 naira will be a chicken chain compared to what information you're going to have on your laps. Next question.
Yeah, thank you very much. So if you have solid minerals on your mind, that's where you want to play in that field, then that's the seminar. It's good for you. I'll give you the phone number. If you're coming for the seminar, this is the number that you should send your name to. Just send me your name and I'll send you details for the payment to come for the seminar. The number is 08022 493182 08022493182. Send me your name and I'll send you details. The fee, the seminar fee is 50,000 naira. The discount time is over. We give discount of 5%, but it's over now. It's 50,000 naira. And then just when you make your payment, we'll send you a confirmation. Now, if you have a question, you can also call the same number that I gave just now. You can call the number and then we will answer your questions. 08022493182. Now, the next question here says, good morning to you, sir. Mr. Godwin, God bless you for what you're doing. I'll be coming from Ibadan for the seminar. I want to know what I should come with. What is going to be the itinerary of the seminar, the master class? I want a picture.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yeah.
The man said that he's coming from Ibadan. I will want to talk to him about a proverb that that the person who we are bringing wife to his house does not peep through the window. The wife is coming to your house.
That's an interesting. I will still peep to see the wife to know what I am getting. I will still peep if the wife is fine or something.
Don't worry. So now, basically, since you said you want to see the wife, despite the fact the person is, don't break your neck, I will still try to give you the picture. Now, when for the master class, we call it Agro Commodity Master Class, and in the master class, we'll be talking on how to export cashew, talking on how to export cocoa beans, gum Arabic, soya beans. We'll be talking about certain seed, export hibiscus flower, which is called Zobo. We'll be talking about shea butter, which is called Ori. We'll be talking about that. We'll be talking about how to export, coconuts, granules. So various agricultural commodities. Why are we focusing on agro commodities? You don't need a NAFDAC number. Let me repeat that again. When you're exporting anything agro commodity, you don't need NAFDAC number because it is a raw commodity. Okay? But for those who have commodities that are being manufactured, we will tell them how to mitigate about it and get their products exported out of the country. Now, apart from that, we'll also be talking about what are the logistics modes. What are the shipping companies? We're going to give you all the names of shipping companies that will help you to export. Then if you are doing cargo, what are the planes that takes your product out of the country? We're also be talking about the method of payment. Okay, for example, a lot of people don't know that when you are talking about letter of credit, you have what they call revocable letter of credit. You have what you call revocable and irrevocable. When you are doing export, to be on the safer side, you must go on a letter of credit with irrevocable letter of credit. I will give you a lot of information about that. And there's kind of payment that you can do that only document is what you present, and definitely your money will be paid. Now, these are also information payment methods, talking about, the organization that also, for example, we'll be talking for the first time, we'll be doing basic class, but the master class will be telling you organization that can put money in your pocket to do export. In fact, they'll be looking for you to give you money to do export business. It's going to be an exciting time. We give you that information. Then what we are you solve the commodity. Which commodity, this commodity, where this source then, we'll also be telling you how to also get buyers. Okay? For example, basically, we'll be telling you this how to get a buyer. But for those people who also want to be getting buyers on weekly basis, there's actually a platform. There's also a platform that actually they can register on, and they'll be getting buyers on weekly basis. Okay, to be giving you for those who are coming for the master class, we help you to get it. There's a platform you are going to pay for. Okay, once you make your payment and we register you with that platform, you'll be getting buyers on weekly basis. Weekly, they'll be sending. I'll be tired of buyers. So that is going to be the specification for commodities. There are various commodities for export. A lot of people don't know that there's a specification for shampoo, there's a specification for cashew, there's a specification for gum arabic, there's a specification for solid minerals. All these things will be discussed at the training program. Then we'll also be talking about the logistics mode, like I said earlier, the branding mode, specification mode, funding opportunities, and a whole lot. So these are the things we'll be doing at the master class. Like I said earlier, the program is coming up this weekend. Please don't miss this program. If you miss it, it means you'll be attending my program, and my own is $100. So make me hear well now. Don't call me after this program and say I won't attend.
They used to call me. They will call me after we've done the process. Mary, just go and do
They're on their own. This is the best opportunity you can use now. So please, this morning, quickly send your name and phone number to 08022493182. I repeat, to be part of that program. This is not a crowded event. It's an executive session where you're going to have your breakfast in the morning. You are going to have buffet in the afternoon. Wow. And as you are also listening to the lecture, desert is also beside you. So it's like you are inside, executive plane. There's a difference between business class.
And you have the opportunity to network. You network with people.
In a beautiful environment. This hotel we are even using is so far now the best hotel in Nigeria. I don't know whether you've heard that. That's the latest news. Golden Tourist Essential Hotel. If you know even if the word essential, it means that all your needs will be met. So send your name and phone number to 493182. Once you do that, they will send you the account number. Please quickly pay fast, because the number will soon actually end up. So that is that. Next question.
Okay, this one says, question is from Barrister Wale Adegoke. He said he listened to the program, although he has already made payment, but he's saying that it would be good if we give certificates to people that will come for the training. So I told him that you do really need certificates. You need the knowledge, you need practical. And I said, in case someone wants to get employment, someone wants to employ you as an exporter, someone that knows about exports, so you can present certificate that I've done training.
Let me tell Barrister that what he needed is export license, which is issued by the federal government, and we are sitting to get that in the next 3 days. Next question.
Okay, so he could get that in the next 3 days after.
Yes. Once you have the export license, you can use it to work in any place. They know you have experience, because at least there are indices you have before the export license is issued. At least knowledge is the basic. Next question.
Okay, this one says, I need some details. Please send any details I need for the training. Okay, I think I will answer this one. Just come with the venue. Okay, I've sent the venue.
Okay, good.
I've sent the venue. I've sent just come with papers. Come with a book, biro, and and come with an open mind. Be ready to really learn.
Open mind, and open stomach.
No, when you eat too much, you sleep now. They are teaching you are eating. Okay, so another message, another one here says, good morning to you, Mary. My name is Sister Cynthia, and I'm really interested in this business. I intend to pay, but I've not paid yet. So my question goes to Mr. Ife. So I want to export cashew nuts. I'm really interested in cashew nuts. So I don't know what is the best way to export cashew nuts. Is it raw, fried, seasoned? I want to know the best way to export cashew nuts. Because
there are various ways, and all the various ways are positive. You can export the kernel, you can export the cashew, you can open the cashew itself, and what is inside, which is the raw commodity, can also be exported. So there's no way. You can export if you process, you can export by air, or if you don't process, you can export by sea. So anyone, both areas are extremely lucrative. In fact, let me be sincere with you. From next month now, you'll see a lot of foreigners going to the places where these cashew are. And because the season actually started around February, March, April, May, and they were cashing in a lot of millions. So please, come and get the information. We'll give you all the information you need and the best place to buy your cashew.
Okay. Now, this will be the last one. We'll have less than a minute. So it says, good morning to you. My name is Gabriel. Someone that listened to the program told me about it. So I'm contacting you. And this is my question. I heard it's 50,000 naira. I'm really interested in coming. Please, sir, can you give me a discount? Let me pay 30,000. Do you know how the country is right now? Please, I need your...
Okay. If I give you a discount, you'll be paying 55,000. Next question.
Thank you. You know what you'll be getting, it's not a basic class. This is
a one-on-one.
A one-on-one.
Pay for value. Don't pay for cheap particles. Okay? These are information that actually has changed people's lives. And, I would just encourage our people to have value for knowledge. Knowledge is priceless. And the more you know, the better you are in life. And like I keep on telling people, a lot of people who are making money today, they actually have value for the knowledge. And once they get it, the sky cannot even limit them. And that's why I encourage a lot of people to key into what is more important. Nobody will also tell you where money is. You are the one that will look for it. And you see, you are the people that are, doing gold. Gold is priceless, because to even get the gold, you dip about almost 18 to almost 25 feet to get gold. So that's the reason when you go to a gold village, nobody prices it. When you put it on, people acknowledge you. So basically, like I said earlier on, this is a program that will help us to move forward in life. And you just need to please send your name and phone number. The Export Masterclass is coming up on the 4th, this week, Saturday. If you have wedding, share it. If you have naming ceremony, postpone it till evening. Let the people wait for you. When they come, you do the naming ceremony. Okay, at least the baby you are going to name requires a lot of money. Okay, universities now, public university now, they are charging to about 200% fee. So you need to have money. So to get money is not difficult, but what you need first is knowledge to get the money. So the program is coming up this weekend on Saturday, 4th of November. The venue, Lagos Tunis Essential Hotel, that's Murtala Mohammed International Airport Road. The seminar fee is 50,000 naira. 50,000 naira. 50,000 naira. If you want to attend, just make sure you send your name and phone number to 080-2249-3182. Once again, 080-2249-3182. Please make sure you pay today or do a part payment, because very soon we'll stop the issue. So please, if you have said your name and phone number, get the account number, do the payment today or do a part payment so that you can be registered. It's not a crowded event. Is an executive session, and I believe that when you come, you'll be glad you did.
Thank you very much, Mr. Godwin Oyefe. So he will be here again tomorrow. So send your questions. I will answer it tomorrow. Thank you very much for being part of the program.
It's a pleasure.
See you tomorrow, God willing.
You too, man. Yes.
Okay. So thank you so much for being part of the program. My time is up. In fact, it's up. I need to go. Next program coming up is Area Matter. My name is Mary Onaife Edebi. Keep it here. Do not change the dial.
Are you looking for the perfect getaway?
Look no further than the luxury